Your wealth is waiting, but it is not found by chasing it. It is found by listening. Before you take another step down the same well-worn road of striving and second-guessing, stop and feel the truth of what I am telling you. The riches you desire, the opportunities you have prayed for, the doors you have been pounding upon in vain, they are already in existence, and they are already aligned with you. But they are not reached by frantic grasping or endless calculations. They are reached by that inner compass God has placed in your soul, the quiet, unmistakable voice that whispers the way. You have been taught by the world that wealth comes only to those who chase it, corner it, and force it into their hands. This is the lie that has exhausted you. Spirit's law is not a law of pursuit, but of alignment. Divine intelligence does not send you running in circles. It guides you by the shortest, most graceful path to your good. This is why I say your wealth is not hiding from you, it is waiting for you, right where Spirit intends you to be, and the only way to reach it is to listen and follow without hesitation. Picture it now. In the midst of confusion and noise, a golden compass begins to glow in your hand. Around you are countless paths, each promising something, yet only one is your prepared way. The compass needle does not waver, it does not argue, it simply points steady and sure toward the direction of your divine supply. This is your intuition, the Spirit of God in you, always pointing you to your highest good. And here's the promise. When you trust that needle and take the step it shows you, provision will meet you there without struggle or delay. In the moments ahead, I will show you how to hear that voice more clearly than you have ever heard it before. I will teach you how to tell the difference between divine guidance and the impulses of fear or wishful thinking. And by the time we finish, you will have in your mouth a prayer affirmation that will open your inner ear, sharpen your compass, and lead you to the wealth that is yours by right of divine inheritance. Do not turn away, for there is a voice that will never fail you, but you must learn how to hear it. You have been told, again and again, that wealth belongs to those who grind the hardest, who make the shrewdest moves, who stay up late into the night wrestling with numbers and strategies, who figure it out before anyone else can. This is the creed of the world, a creed written in sweat and anxiety, in long hours and short tempers, in the gnawing fear that if you make one wrong turn, the opportunity will vanish forever. But I am here to tear the mask from that lie. For the truth is this: the greatest wealth comes not by force, but by flow. It comes when you are moving in harmony with the divine direction that has already charted your course. When you are listening to the Spirit within, you are never in the wrong place at the wrong time. You are not scrambling to catch up with opportunity. Opportunity is drawn to you as surely as a river runs to the sea. Hard work in itself is not the villain. Diligence is noble, but toil without guidance is like rowing upstream until your arms give out. The law of Spirit was never meant to be a law of strain. It is the law of right place, right time, right action, all revealed by that still small voice that speaks behind you, saying, "This is the way, walk ye in it." Isaiah 30:21. Think of a master key, a simple, slender piece of metal that opens every door in a great estate. The uninitiated spend their days trying to guess the combinations, forcing locks, or searching for the right key among thousands. But the one who holds the master key moves freely from door to door without hesitation. That master key is divine guidance. It spares you from the wasted years of wrong turns and missteps, and it places in your hand the precise action that will open the storehouse of your good. And yet, many ignore it. They hear the nudge but question it. They sense the direction but delay until the moment passes. Why? Because the world has trained them to worship the intellect above the spirit, to trust only what can be seen, measured, and calculated. But wealth, true wealth, the kind that comes without sorrow, is not summoned by calculation. It is revealed by obedience to the voice that cannot err. If you will release the lie that your good must be earned through strain, and instead embrace the truth that your good is found by following divine direction, you will find yourself in possession of a power that makes the impossible inevitable. The voice of your wealth is already speaking. The question is whether you will hear and act. Before we walk further down this golden path together, I want you to see the end from the beginning. By the time we have completed our journey in this message, you will hold in your hand, and even more importantly, in your heart, the exact prayer affirmation that tunes the ear of your spirit to the pitch of God's voice. You will not leave here wondering, guessing, or hoping you might one day hear. You will leave knowing, Because the law I am about to unfold for you is not uncertain, not hit or miss, not a matter of luck or chance. It is exact, it is faithful, and it is already prepared to work for you the moment you align with it. Imagine this. You rise in the morning with peace in your chest and a quiet anticipation humming in your bones. You no longer scroll through your day in your mind, worrying about which step to take first or whether you might choose wrongly. Instead, you hold still long enough to hear the inward word, that calm, authoritative direction that comes without strain, without argument, and yet leaves no doubt. You act upon it, even if it is a single small step, and before the day ends, you find yourself exactly where you needed to be, face to face with the person, the opportunity, or the open door that carries your provision. You did not chase it. You were led to it. This is the effortless geometry of spirit, aligning your movements with your good. In the chapters ahead, I will reveal the precise spiritual law that governs this kind of guidance. I will show you how to discern the difference between divine direction and the counterfeit whispers of fear, vanity, or wishful thinking. I will give you practical exercises to sharpen your hearing, to strengthen your trust, and to anchor your obedience so that you no longer question the voice once you hear it. And when we reach the appointed moment, I will place upon your lips a single potent prayer affirmation, your wealth compass, that will magnetize the right steps, the right people, and the right timing into your life. But hear me clearly. This is not about adding one more affirmation to your list, one more spiritual tool to your shelf. This is about awakening the inborn faculty that was given to you to guide you in all things, a faculty that, when obeyed, will make wealth as natural to you as breath. There is a voice that will never fail you. There is a compass that will never spin aimlessly. There is a path to your wealth that is already lit from end to end. All that remains is for you to hear, to trust, and to walk it. And that is exactly what we are going to do together. There is a law, immutable, exact, and unfailing, that governs divine direction. Florence Scovel Shinn called it the law of right guidance, and it is as sure in its operation as the law of gravity. This law states, when you acknowledge God as the source of your supply and invite His direction in every step, the path to your good is prepared before you, and your steps are ordered without misstep or delay. This is not poetic sentiment, it is spiritual mechanics. Divine direction is not a vague feeling floating in the ether, it is the deliberate movement of infinite intelligence arranging people, places, and events to fulfill the blueprint of your highest good. Picture a river that has been flowing long before you ever stepped onto its banks. The current knows exactly where it is going, winding through hidden valleys and over unseen depths to reach the wide sea. You could, of course, lower a small boat into the water and begin rowing against the current, straining your arms, exhausting your strength, and wondering why you make so little progress. Or you could set your vessel into the flow and allow the current to carry you. This is the difference between self-driven striving and spirit-led direction. In one, you battle endlessly against resistance. In the other, you move with a force far greater than yourself, covering in a moment what would have taken you years to reach on your own. The law of divine direction does not ask you to predict the entire course of the river. It only asks that you trust the current you are in. It will never lead you to barren shores. In the magic path of intuition, I wrote that when you are on your right path, every step brings you closer to your good, and every delay you thought was a setback proves to be a perfect turn in your favor. Wealth comes not by forcing your way into channels that seem promising, but by being carried effortlessly into the channels already prepared for you. To work with this law, you must first release the idea that your good is out there somewhere, hidden among 1,000 uncertain choices. Your good is already in motion toward you. Your part is to be still enough to hear the direction and bold enough to act upon it. When you do, the law engages doors open without strain, contacts appear without contrivance, and resources flow without manipulation. It is not chance, it is order. It is not luck, it is law. And once you have learned to work with it, you will never again waste your energy rowing upstream. You will know the ease of being carried straight to the shores of your abundance. Yet, if there is a true voice that never fails, there is also the counterfeit voice, sly, insistent, and wearing the garments of truth while leading only to confusion, delay, or loss. This is the voice of fear, of personal will disguised as divine instruction, of desire born of vanity rather than vision. Many have mistaken this voice for intuition. and when its promises collapsed into nothing, they concluded that intuition doesn't work. But intuition, the real, God-given guidance, never fails. It is we who sometimes fail to discern, for the counterfeit voice often shouts while the true voice whispers. Fear loves to masquerade as urgency. It says, "Act now, or you'll miss your chance." It pushes, it pressures, it paints pictures of disaster if you do not leap this instant. True divine guidance is never driven by panic. It carries a quiet authority, a peace even in its promptness. Desire, too, can mimic the tone of guidance when it springs from ego, the longing to prove something, to outshine another, to gain what has no root in your true purpose. Such impulses may bring a fleeting satisfaction, but leave a hollow echo where joy should be. The scripture says in John 10:4-5, speaking of the Good Shepherd, "The sheep follow him, for they know his voice, and a stranger will they not follow, but will flee from him, for they know not the voice of strangers." The task, then, is to train your inner ear to know the shepherd's voice so well that any stranger's voice, be it fear, ego, or wishful thinking, is instantly recognized and rejected. The true voice carries with it an inner resonance, as if something deep within you stands at attention and says, "Yes, this is it." The counterfeit voice leaves a faint unease, a subtle tightening, an inconsistency that gnaws if you are honest enough to acknowledge it. I have seen many step into costly ventures, relationships, or commitments because they mistook a push of fear or the lure of ego for divine prompting. The outcome, inevitably, was frustration or loss, not because spirit failed them, but because spirit was never the author of those steps. To guard against this, you must cultivate both the willingness to act quickly on the true voice and the willingness to pause when there is even a trace of uncertainty. The true voice can stand the test of a moment's stillness. It grows clearer when honored. The counterfeit voice fades when denied the fuel of your attention. And so I tell you, before you follow any lead toward wealth or toward anything, test the voice. Does it bring peace? Does it align with your divine purpose? Does it carry a sense of inevitability rather than desperation? If so, step boldly. If not, step back. For wealth gained by the counterfeit voice will drain as quickly as it came, but wealth brought by the true voice will root itself deeply and multiply without sorrow. Here is the mystery that changes everything. When you follow the true lead, the supply does not trickle toward you, as if reluctantly parting with itself. It rushes, it hastens, it leaps to meet you, as though it had been waiting breathlessly for your consent to act. This is the nature of divine law. It is poised in readiness, fully prepared to deliver your good, but it will not force its way upon you. It waits for your alignment, for your yes spoken in faith, for your willingness to step where the voice directs. And when you do, the movement is instant, the channels are already open, and the outcome is inevitable. I have seen this countless times. A woman receives a quiet nudge to visit a place she had no logical reason to go, and there she meets the very person whose recommendation secures her a position beyond what she imagined. A man hears the inward word to delay signing a contract that seemed perfect, and days later a better offer appears, twice as favorable, because he did not let impatience overrule guidance. The moment the true lead is obeyed, the sequence of provision begins as if on cue. The only delay between you and your good is the delay in your obedience. And yet, the mind asks, how do I know, with certainty, that this is the true lead and not a counterfeit? This is where so many falter and where most teachings leave you stranded. They tell you to trust your gut, but a gut that has been trained by fear, past disappointment, and self-will will not always give you the right answer. What you need is not guesswork, but a precise spiritual key, a way to tune your inner ear so that the true voice rings unmistakable and the false voice falls silent. I will give you that key. Not now, for it is too soon. If I were to hand it to you without preparing the soil of your mind and spirit, you might plant it among weeds, and the clarity it brings would be choked. You must first learn the feel of the true and the false, the peace of the shepherd's voice, and the restlessness of the stranger's. You must first practice pausing, listening, and testing. And then, when we reach the moment appointed, I will place in your hands the inner tuning method, the wealth compass, that will make discernment as simple as breathing. Hold this thought. There is a way to hear so clearly that you will never again question whether to act or to wait. There is a way to know, without hesitation, which step will bring you directly to your wealth. We will come to it soon, but not yet. For now, let the anticipation grow, for in that expectancy, you are already opening the channel through which your next divine lead will arrive. Every great movement of divine guidance begins with a simple, deliberate invitation. Spirit does not impose, it waits to be acknowledged. The first step, therefore, is to ask with the expectation of receiving and to acknowledge at once that the answer is already present in the invisible. This is where so many fall short. They either never truly ask, assuming their needs are too small or too great for God's attention, or they ask as beggars, doubting even as the words leave their lips. But the law responds not to desperation, but to recognition. In the morning, before you rush into the noise and decisions of the day, before you consult the opinions of others or the clamoring of your own mind, make this your command. Infinite Spirit, open the way for my right wealth now. Let every step I take today be ordered by divine intelligence, and let me recognize and obey each lead without hesitation. Speak it not as a wish, but as an instruction to the law that governs your life. You are not pleading for something uncertain. You are engaging a system as precise as the sunrise, a law that has been in operation since the foundation of the world. When you ask in this way, you set your compass before you take your first step. You align yourself with the current of the river before you launch your boat. You are saying to Spirit, I am ready to be directed, I am willing to follow, I am committed to the path prepared for me. And in that readiness, the law begins to arrange the unseen in your favor. People you have not yet met begin to move into position. Circumstances start to shift. The answer may come in the form of a sudden idea, an impulse to take an action you had not considered, or a seeming coincidence that leads to the next open door. But this step has two parts, and the second is just as vital as the first. Once you have asked, you must acknowledge throughout the day that guidance is flowing to you. Say quietly within yourself, I am divinely directed in all my ways, even before you see a sign. This acknowledgement keeps the channel open, keeps your inner ear turned toward the voice, and prevents the static of doubt from interfering with the signal. The moment you ask, the law moves. The moment you acknowledge, you keep it moving. Make this a daily ritual, not a hurried thought as you pour your coffee, but a conscious, reverent moment in which you align yourself with the unfailing guide. This is the doorway through which all other steps will pass. For without asking, you wander. Without acknowledgement, you drift. But with both, you walk a path where each footprint is lit, and at the end of that path waits the wealth that was always yours. Once you have asked and acknowledged, you must hold your consciousness in the vibration where guidance is both heard and obeyed. This is done through rhythmic affirmations spoken not once and forgotten, but repeated with the steady cadence of a heartbeat until they become the background music of your mind. Words are the tuning fork of the soul. They set the entire instrument of your consciousness into resonance with the frequency of divine direction. When you speak affirmations with rhythm and certainty, you are not merely thinking positively, you are attuning your inner ear to the one true voice that cannot err. Begin with simple, potent lines that train you to expect clarity. I hear only the voice of God. My next step is always revealed in perfect time. I recognize divine direction instantly. Every lead I follow brings me closer to my wealth. Do not rush these. Let each one roll from your tongue with authority and leave a pause afterward as if you are letting the truth settle into the deepest chambers of your being. When spoken with deliberate rhythm, each affirmation becomes a hammer, striking away the crust of doubt, clearing the channel between you and the source. Now, here's the crucial part. After speaking these affirmations, stop. Let silence answer. Do not crowd the space with nervous chatter or restless thoughts. The voice you seek does not compete with noise, it moves in the stillness you create. This is why I give you this first interactive practice. Speak the affirmations for a full minute, then close your eyes and listen in silence for 10 seconds. You may hear words, or you may feel an inner pull, or perhaps nothing obvious at all, but do not mistake the apparent quiet for inactivity. The moment you make space, Spirit begins to imprint direction upon your consciousness, often so gently that only in hindsight do you see it was there all along. The purpose of rhythmic affirmations is not merely to call in guidance, but to sharpen your ability to notice it when it comes. They align your mind to expect direction, to welcome it without suspicion, and to act upon it without delay. As you continue this practice, you will find that guidance begins to break through at unexpected moments in conversation, in the middle of a task, even in dreams. This is because your inner atmosphere has been prepared, your compass needle kept steady, your ear tuned to the pitch of heaven, and from that state of clarity, the path to your wealth can be walked without detour. Just as a radio receiver cannot play the music clearly if it is clogged with static, your inner ear cannot catch the pure tone of divine direction if it is crowded with the noise of fear, confusion, and false belief. This is why denials are as essential as affirmations. An affirmation plants the seed, a denial clears the soil. Without the clearing, weeds will rise to choke the seed before it can sprout. The static must be removed so the signal can come through without distortion. The static often comes disguised as reasonableness. You might be mistaken. That's too risky. What if you fail? These are the whispers of the world, but they do not belong to you. Each time they rise, you must meet them with a firm denial, a spoken refusal to grant them any place in your consciousness. You do not fight them with emotion, you dissolve them with truth. If fear says, "You will run out," you answer, "There is no lack in divine mind, and therefore there is no lack in my life." If confusion says, "You don't know what to do," you respond, "The mind of God in me always knows my perfect next step, and I hear it clearly now." Florence Scovel Shinn often compared the mind to a garden, and denials are the pruning shears. They cut away the growth that drains life from the true plant. Without this pruning, even a strong seed of truth must struggle for room to expand. But when you daily deny the reality of fear, doubt, and limitation, you give your affirmations the open, fertile ground they need to take root and flourish. Make denials part of your morning and evening ritual. Before you affirm what is true, clear out what is false. Stand, breathe deeply, and say aloud, "There is nothing to fear, there is no confusion. There is no delay in the plan of God for my wealth. Every obstacle is dissolved now." Feel the authority in your tone, the voice of a soul who knows they are backed by the infinite. In that very moment, the static begins to dissipate, the channel begins to clear, and the message of your next divine lead is free to come through without obstruction. Denials are not the same as ignoring reality. They are the deliberate refusal to grant permanence to any appearance that contradicts the truth of God's provision. When practiced faithfully, they become second nature. The moment a false thought appears, you automatically dissolve it before it can take hold. And in the space left behind, the still small voice becomes audible again, leading you unerringly toward your prepared wealth. You have now learned to ask and acknowledge, to affirm with rhythm, and to deny with authority, and these steps have already begun to clear the fog that once made divine direction seem elusive. But I want you to pause here and feel the growing anticipation. For there is yet one short prayer, one line of holy command, that acts like the master key to unlock the wealth path instantly. I will not give it to you in this moment, not because I wish to withhold it, but because I wish to place it in your hand only when you are fully prepared to use it. A key given too soon may be lost in a pocket of doubt or misplaced in the clutter of an unready mind. Imagine you are standing before a great locked door, behind which lies not only the provision you need for today, but the treasures, opportunities, and connections that will sustain you for years to come. You can hear the faint hum of what waits inside. You know with every fiber of your being that what is beyond that door belongs to you by divine right. And I tell you plainly, there is one simple utterance that will cause the lock to yield without resistance, swinging wide as if it had been waiting for your arrival. That utterance is coming, and it will be yours before our time together is finished. But here is why I delay. The moment you speak it, the law will act. It will begin arranging your circumstances at once, and you must be in a state of unwavering receptivity to notice and obey the leads that will appear. If you have not yet cultivated the stillness to hear or the courage to follow, the answer could arrive and you might step past it without recognition. Therefore, I keep you in this space of holy curiosity a little longer. For curiosity is a magnet, it draws your whole attention toward what is coming, heightening your awareness and sharpening your inner ear. Let this curiosity build in you, as a current builds in the river before it breaks through the narrows. Feel the readiness gathering, the expectancy pressing at the edges of your mind. Begin to say within yourself, "I am ready for the master key. I am ready to hear and obey without hesitation. I am ready to walk the prepared path to my wealth." For soon, very soon, the words will be given, And when they are, they will not be idle words, but the signal to the law that the appointed hour has come. Until then, let the anticipation keep you leaning forward in spirit, for the key is already turning in the lock. Let me tell you of a woman who came to me burdened with questions and restless in her search for supply. She had tried every method the world advised: long hours, relentless networking, chasing every lead that seemed even remotely promising, yet her finances remained thin, her energy depleted, and her confidence frayed. When she sat before me, I could see that her true hunger was not merely for money, but for certainty. She longed to know, without hesitation, which steps were hers to take and which were distractions. I taught her, as I am teaching you now, to ask in the morning for divine direction and to acknowledge throughout the day that her path was already being ordered. She began with the simple prayer, "Infinite Spirit, open the way for my right wealth now." She coupled it with the rhythmic affirmations I had given her, and each time the fog of fear tried to settle, she used her denials to sweep it away. It was not long before something remarkable occurred. One afternoon, as she sat at her desk reviewing a list of potential clients, she felt a sudden, quiet nudge to call a particular name, one she had almost dismissed as a cold lead months earlier. There was no flashing light, no booming voice, only the calm sense that this was her next step. Trusting the process, she picked up the phone. The person answered warmly, explaining that they had just been speaking of needing the very service she offered. Within a week, a contract was signed, one that not only covered her immediate needs, but opened doors to a network of contacts that would sustain her business for years to come. When she told me this, she said, "I almost didn't call. I nearly talked myself out of it." But the words we had been speaking echoed in my mind, and I knew I had to follow through. That, my friend, is the difference between wandering and being led. The lead was quiet, but it was sure. The action was simple, but it was decisive. And the supply that followed was swift and abundant. Now, here is the part that will interest you most. The very phrase she kept hearing in her mind, the one that anchored her obedience, is the same phrase I will be giving to you in Act 6. It is the wealth compass we have been building toward, the sacred utterance that makes the still small voice ring like a bell in the heart. You will have it soon, and when you do, it will not merely be words, it will be the call sign that your intuition recognizes, the signal that summons the wealth prepared for you. Hold this story close, for it is proof that the voice still speaks, and that those who heed it never walk in vain. There comes a point in the journey where you must make a deliberate choice to dethrone human logic from its seat as the sole authority in your life. Logic has its place. It organizes facts, weighs visible options, and assesses what can be measured, but when it stands alone without the higher counsel of spirit, it becomes a tyrant that limits you to the narrow borders of what you can currently see. The trouble is, most people have been trained from childhood to treat logic as the only trustworthy guide, and in doing so, they have silenced the still small voice that would have led them into possibilities far beyond anything they could have reasoned out. To break the spell of logic alone, you must first recognize how it operates when it is divorced from divine direction. Logic says, only what has happened before can happen again. Spirit says, behold, I do a new thing. Now it springs forth. Shall ye not know it? Logic says, if I cannot see every step, I cannot move. Spirit says, walk by faith, not by sight. Logic demands a map. Spirit hands you a lamp that lights only the next step. Yet that step always leads exactly where you are meant to go. I want you to picture yourself standing on a path at night, the world around you cloaked in darkness. In your hand is a lantern that throws a circle of light only a few feet ahead. Logic frets, saying, I must see the whole road before I can begin. Spirit says, take the step you can see, and the next will appear. Those who wait for the entire road to be lit will stand still until their lives pass them by, while those who trust the voice and move with the light they have will find the path unfolding in perfect sequence, leading them without fail to the prepared place of their wealth. This is the call and response of faith over calculation. You declare, I trust the voice over appearances. You declare, the step shown to me is safe and sure. You declare, I do not need to see the whole path to walk in perfect direction. With each repetition, you are reprogramming your mind to yield the throne of decision-making to divine intelligence, allowing logic to serve as the faithful servant it was meant to be, not the master. For when logic and spirit work together, logic taking its cues from the voice, your steps are both inspired and effective. But if logic rules alone, you will always be confined to the small territory of what you already know. In the minutes ahead, we will deepen this reprogramming, replacing the fear of uncertainty with trust in divine timing, until the unknown no longer feels like a threat but like a vast, open field where your good is already waiting. And when that shift is complete, you will find yourself moving into opportunities that human reasoning alone could never have conceived. Yet they will fit you perfectly because they were chosen for you by the one who knows the end from the beginning. Fear is the great interrupter of divine direction. It slips in like a thief, not always with a loud crash, but often with the quiet rustle of what if? What if I'm wrong? What if I misheard? What if this step costs me more than it gives? And in that moment of hesitation, the current of guidance that was carrying you forward slows, then stalls, waiting for you to remember who you are and whose voice you follow. Fear does not merely delay your good, it distorts your perception, making the path that was straight appear twisted and the step that was safe appear dangerous. That is why, if you are to walk by intuition into your wealth, you must learn to replace fear with trust so completely that fear finds no foothold in you. Trust is not a passive hope. It is an active alignment. It is the deliberate choice to believe that infinite intelligence has already prepared the way before you and that it will never lead you into loss or harm. This trust is not blind. It is rooted in the unshakable truth of divine law. The steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord, and he delighteth in his way. When you act on that truth, you are not gambling. You are obeying a principle as precise as gravity. The voice that guides you is incapable of error, and when you accept that fully, fear has no case to plead. I want you to speak this affirmation now, slowly, with the authority of one who knows they are backed by heaven itself. I trust the lead I receive and act without hesitation. Every step I take by divine direction brings me closer to my wealth. Let it settle into you. Speak it again. I trust the lead I receive and act without hesitation. Every step I take by divine direction brings me closer to my wealth. And once more, with the finality that leaves no room for reversal, I trust the lead I receive and act without hesitation. Every step I take by divine direction brings me closer to my wealth. When you affirm this regularly, something begins to shift deep within you. That reflex to second guess begins to fade. The inner tension that made you hesitate starts to dissolve. And when the voice speaks in a nudge, in a sudden idea, in a clear inner knowing, your first instinct will be to move, not to analyze it to death. This is how wealth finds you quickly, by your instant obedience to divine guidance. In place of fear's what if, you will hear trust's of course. Of course the way is clear. Of course this lead will prosper me. Of course I am safe in following. And with that new inner language, you will not merely walk the path to your wealth, you will stride upon it with the ease and confidence of one who knows they can never be led astray. Dominion is mastery, the place where truth is no longer something you reach for in moments of crisis, but the ground you stand on every hour of the day. And dominion in the realm of divine guidance is built through repetition. For every time you repeat a truth with conviction, you are carving it deeper into the pathways of your consciousness until it becomes your default state. Repetition is not vain babbling. It is the spiritual equivalent of muscle training. Just as an athlete strengthens through repeated movements, the soul strengthens its trust and clarity through the steady rhythm of repeated declarations. Set aside 2 minutes each day more if you can for rapid-fire affirmations that affirm both your receptivity to guidance and your certainty of its unfailing results. Stand tall, breathe deeply, and speak without pause. I hear clearly. I obey instantly. My steps are ordered now. Every lead I receive is prosperous. I move only in the right direction. The voice of God guides me to my wealth today. Nothing can block my divine direction. Let the pace be quick enough to keep your mind engaged, but steady enough to feel each truth resonate through your body. As you speak, imagine the sound waves of your words traveling into every corner of your being, rewiring hesitation into decisiveness and uncertainty into clear knowing. You are not trying to make the voice speak. You are training yourself to recognize it the instant it does. Now we come to your second interactive prompt. Take a pen and paper or your phone if that is nearest, and write down the clearest divine lead you have ever received, whether you obeyed it at the time or not. Relive that moment in detail. How did the guidance arrive? What did it feel like in your body? What was the tone of the voice, gentle, firm, sudden? This exercise reconnects you with the memory of true guidance, sharpening your awareness of its unique signature so that you can distinguish it from counterfeits. As you continue this practice day after day, you will find that divine direction becomes less of an occasional event and more of a constant companion. You will move from moments of clarity to a lifestyle of clarity, from sporadic obedience to unbroken obedience. And in that state of dominion, wealth no longer needs to be pursued, it flows to meet you, drawn by the steady, unwavering vibration of one who hears and follows without delay. Return with me now to the image I gave you earlier, that golden compass resting in your hand, its needle steady, its glow unwavering. In the beginning, it may have seemed faint, the light flickering through the fog of doubt and the static of fear. But with every affirmation you have spoken, every denial you have declared, every act of trust you have taken, that glow has grown brighter. You have polished the surface through obedience, wiped away the dust of hesitation, and now the compass shines like a beacon against the dark. The needle no longer wavers under the pull of counterfeit voices. It points with unerring certainty toward the path prepared for you. Each time you have chosen to trust the voice over appearances, you have run your hand over that compass, burnishing it to greater brilliance. Each time you have replaced fear with trust, the light within it has intensified. And now, as you stand on the path, the circle of light it casts is wider, revealing not just the next step, but hints of the terrain ahead. A confirmation that you are not only on the right path, but moving toward your wealth with divine precision. The metaphor of this compass is not merely poetic, it is a spiritual reality. Your intuition, that God-given instrument of direction, is as real and as dependable as any physical compass, provided it is kept aligned with true north, which is the will and wisdom of infinite intelligence. When neglected, it may seem to spin aimlessly. When overridden by ego or fear, it may feel dim. But when honored, tended, and trusted, it becomes the most valuable possession you can carry, for it will guide you unerringly through storms, over deserts, and into the fertile lands of abundance. Look down at that compass in your mind's eye. See its light now strong, golden, certain. Feel the steadiness of its pull, the way it quiets the noise around you, the way it silences the conflicting signals that once kept you spinning in indecision. You have learned to read it, to trust it, to act upon it. And because of that, the journey ahead is no longer a guessing game, but a guided procession, each step timed to perfection. The wealth you seek is not wandering, it is waiting, and your compass is leading you straight to it. Hold this vision close, for in the moments to come, we will bring the metaphor into reality with a final, sacred key, the exact utterance that will tune your compass instantly, no matter the situation, no matter the noise, and bring you without delay to the place of your prepared supply. You are now standing at the threshold. The compass in your hand is steady, its light sure, its pull undeniable. You have learned to clear the static, to replace fear with trust, to affirm with rhythm, and to act with confidence. The path has been prepared, the voice is clear, and yet there is one more movement, one final unlocking, before the journey to your wealth becomes not just possible, but inevitable. That movement will come in the form of a single, sacred sentence, the wealth compass itself, a decree so aligned with divine law that when you speak it, it immediately summons the full power of infinite intelligence to guide your every step. I will not give you that sentence yet. Why? Because the moment it leaves your lips, the law will go into motion, and you must be ready to receive without hesitation. Too often, people cry out for guidance and then resist the very leads that are given, dismissing them as coincidence or doubting them into silence. I will not let that be your story. When you speak the sentence, I want it to find a consciousness so prepared, so trained in listening, so quick to obey, that the results are swift, undeniable, and multiplied beyond your expectation. So I will leave you here, in this sacred tension, with the compass in your hand and the awareness that the key is almost yours. In this space, expectancy is your greatest ally. Expectancy sharpens the senses. It turns the faintest nudge into a ringing bell. It transforms an ordinary moment into the doorway to your provision. The wealth compass will be given, but until it is, I want you to begin speaking within yourself. I am ready for the divine decree. I am ready to follow instantly. I am ready to receive my wealth in perfect ways. Hold this loop open in your mind, and let it pull you forward with the same magnetic force as the compass needle itself. We are moving toward the moment when your words will become the signal, your voice the activator, and your obedience the seal that releases the storehouse of your abundance. The next time we meet in this progression, we will step across that threshold, and nothing will ever be the same. It is time now to claim your position as one who commands their steps in harmony with the highest law. No more speaking as one uncertain of their way. No more giving breath to phrases of confusion or doubt. Your words are the rudder of your life, and if you speak aimlessly, you will drift aimlessly. But if you speak with precision, with authority, with the conviction that you are divinely guided, you will find the current of spirit carrying you into the very heart of your prepared wealth. The voice of hesitation must be silenced, and the voice of dominion must rise within you until it becomes the only tone you know. Stand now, yes, physically if you are able, and let the truth settle over you like a mantle. This is not the posture of a seeker groping for light. This is the stance of one clothed in the full authority of divine direction. Say aloud, with the certainty that moves mountains, I am always in the right place at the right time by divine direction. Again, I am always in the right place at the right time by divine direction. Once more, louder, so your own ears cannot ignore the resonance. I am always in the right place at the right time by divine direction. Do you feel the shift? Every time you affirm this, you are burning away the residue of, I don't know what to do, and what if I choose wrong? You are reprogramming your very identity so that you no longer move through life as a wanderer, but as one who is placed by the hand of God in every conversation, every meeting, every opportunity, exactly when and where you are meant to be. In this state, there is no missing your good, for your good cannot miss you. The law itself has arranged the meeting, and the meeting will occur. This is the challenge I set before you now. Eliminate from your speech any phrase that contradicts your divine placement. Erase I'm lost, I don't know, I'm trying to figure it out from your vocabulary. Replace them instantly with this decree until it becomes the only truth your subconscious carries. I am always in the right place at the right time by divine direction. Live in it, speak it, walk it, and watch how swiftly your wealth begins to appear at every turn, as though it had been waiting just beyond the veil of your old speech, ready to flood your life the moment you gave the command. You cannot walk the path of divine direction with the identity of a seeker who is always reaching but never arriving. A seeker looks for signs, as if they are hidden treasures, buried deep and meant to be unearthed only after long toil. But one who is aligned with infinite intelligence moves as a finder, one who expects to encounter their good at every turn, because they know the law that governs their life is already arranging the meeting. The seeker says, I hope it's out there somewhere. The finder says, it is already mine, and I am walking straight toward it. This shift is not cosmetic, it is foundational. Every thought, every word, every action must be filtered through the consciousness of one who has already been located by their wealth. You are not chasing it. It is moving toward you. You are not knocking endlessly at closed doors. The right doors are being opened to you before you arrive. The moment you identify as a finder, you step into the frequency where provision is inevitable, where guidance is constant, and where delays are merely divine timing perfecting the sequence of your increase. Speak it now, not as an experiment, but as a declaration of being. I am not a seeker, I am a finder, my wealth finds me. Again, with more certainty, I am not a seeker, I am a finder. My wealth finds me. One more time, so your subconscious cannot mistake your meaning. I am not a seeker, I am a finder. My wealth finds me. Feel how different it is to stand in that identity. The air around you feels charged, as though opportunity is already within arm's reach, because, in truth, it is. Here is your third interactive moment. Speak this new identity aloud 3 times right now, and then write it down where you will see it daily on a mirror, on your desk, in your journal. Every time you see it, you are reinforcing the truth that you no longer live in the restless energy of searching, but in the calm authority of one who is perpetually in the right place at the right time for their wealth to locate them. From this day forward, Refuse to return to the language or posture of the seeker. It is too small for you now. You have stepped into a new name, a new role, and a new rhythm with the law. And as the finder, you do not worry about whether your wealth will arrive. You expect it, you recognize it, and you welcome it without hesitation. This is the identity that unlocks the last stages of your guidance, positioning you perfectly for the sacred decree we are moving toward. It is no longer a matter of if, beloved, it is a matter of now. You have been brought to this point with purpose, each step unfolding like a carefully written script from the mind of God. The asking, the affirming, the denying, the trusting, the identity shift all have been laying the foundation for one decisive moment. Ahead lies the sacred activation, the speaking forth of the wealth compass, the decree that will cause the law to surge into motion on your behalf in a way that is visible, tangible, and unmistakable. But before I place those words upon your lips, I must anchor you in the expectancy and readiness that will make them a living command rather than a hollow phrase. For when you speak this decree, you are not merely affirming, you are issuing a spiritual order that infinite intelligence is bound by its own nature to fulfill. You are stepping into the role of co-creator, not as one asking permission, but as one enforcing the covenant already written into the fabric of your being. That you are divinely guided to the wealth prepared for you. This is why I tell you, the moment you speak it with full consent of heart and mind, things will begin to move. People will call you unexpectedly. Ideas will press upon you with new urgency. Opportunities will appear that seem to arrive from nowhere, yet they will be precisely timed and perfectly tailored to your need. I want you to live in that picture now, even before the decree is spoken. See yourself waking tomorrow to a day already rich with divine appointments. Hear yourself answering a phone call that changes your financial trajectory. Imagine finding yourself at a place you just felt led to go, only to discover the very opportunity you've been prepared to receive. Let these images become so vivid that when the decree is finally spoken, your mind and spirit already know what to expect: immediate, direct, and abundant results. So, I leave you here on the edge of this holy threshold. The key is in my hand, and soon it will be in yours. Hold the anticipation like a bowstring pulled taut, knowing the release is near. Every repetition of your new identity, every moment of expectancy, is drawing the appointed hour closer. And when the words are finally spoken, the clasp will open, the current will carry you, and your wealth will no longer be a promise waiting to be fulfilled. It will be the reality in which you stand. We stand now in the high place of certainty, the summit from which every declaration carries the weight of fulfillment. These affirmations are not scattered seeds. They are flaming arrows, shot with precision into the very heart of your divine design. Each one affirms not only your openness to guidance, but the inevitable prosperity that follows. I want you to speak them with no pause between, letting them roll over each other like waves, each cresting higher than the last, until they form a rhythm that your subconscious cannot ignore. Say with me now, every lead I follow brings increase. Again, without hesitation, every lead I follow brings increase. Let your voice grow in authority. I am guided to wealth in perfect ways. Repeat. I am guided to wealth in perfect ways. Let the truth take deeper root. My steps are ordered by infinite intelligence. Once more. My steps are ordered by infinite intelligence. And now the final line, as if you were stamping it into the fabric of your reality. I am receptive, ready, and richly supplied. Say it again. I am receptive, ready, and richly supplied. Do you feel the rising energy? This is the power of repetition, under the anointing of faith. Each phrase is a direct command to your inner compass, programming it to register only those leads that bring prosperity, to disregard all else, and to carry you forward with an unstoppable momentum. When you declare that every lead brings increase, you are rejecting the notion of wasted steps. When you affirm that you are guided in perfect ways, you are surrendering to the flawless orchestration of divine timing. When you claim that your steps are ordered, you are walking in the authority of one whose path is not random but written. And when you declare that you are receptive, ready, and richly supplied, you are flinging wide the doors of your consciousness to receive what the law has already prepared. Let these declarations echo in your spirit beyond this moment. Whisper them as you rise in the morning, speak them with confidence as you move through your day, and let them be the final sound in your mind before you sleep. For the law responds to the dominant vibration you hold. And if these truths are the loudest sound in your consciousness, the guidance to your wealth will come as naturally as the sunrise. Now, we seal this ascent with the commanding close the line that gathers up every truth you have spoken, every denial you have made, every act of trust you have taken, and binds them into a single, unshakable decree. Speak it as one issuing an irreversible order to the universe, as one who knows they are backed by the immutable law of God. I hear and obey the voice of my wealth. Say it again, letting each word strike like the tolling of a great bell. I hear and obey the voice of my wealth. And one final time, with the force of completion, as though the whole of creation is listening and rushing to comply, I hear and obey the voice of my wealth. This is not a metaphor. There is, in the realm of spirit, a voice that calls you toward every resource, every opportunity, every open door prepared for your prosperity. It does not shout. It does not plead. It speaks with the quiet certainty of a current pulling the ship toward the harbor. And when you affirm that you hear and obey, you are declaring that no counterfeit signal will distract you, no fear will halt you, and no delay will cause you to turn aside. You are affirming that wealth is not something you chase blindly, but something that speaks to you, and that you are the one who recognizes and answers its call. Understand this. Obedience in this context is not the submission of the weak to the strong. It is the alignment of the wise with the wise. It is the agreement between your spirit and the Spirit of God, that you will move as one, in perfect harmony, toward the expression of abundance that has been in the divine mind for you from the beginning. When you obey the voice of your wealth, you are obeying the voice of your own fulfilled purpose. So let this final declaration of the affirmation sequence be etched into your consciousness. Write it where you will see it daily. Speak it until it becomes your natural response to every decision, and let it shape your actions until following divine guidance is no longer something you practice, but simply the way you live. For the voice of your wealth is speaking now, and because you hear and obey, it will lead you without fail to the overflowing life that is already yours. The moment we have been moving toward is here. Every affirmation, every denial, every shift in identity, every moment of expectancy has been preparing you for this single utterance. This is the wealth compass, the divine decree that aligns your inner ear to the voice of spirit so precisely that you cannot miss your guidance, and therefore you cannot miss your wealth. When you speak it as one sealing a covenant, for that is exactly what you are doing. These are not idle words. They are the written contract of your soul with infinite intelligence, signed in the ink of your faith and delivered into the hands of the law that never fails. Here it is. I am divinely guided to my wealth. Every lead I receive is from God and brings me riches, under grace, in perfect ways. Say it now with the certainty of one who knows that all heaven bends to hear and answer. I am divinely guided to my wealth. Every lead I receive is from God and brings me riches, under grace, in perfect ways. Again, with even more authority, I am divinely guided to my wealth. Every lead I receive is from God and brings me riches, under grace, in perfect ways. One final time, letting the vibration of it saturate your entire being. I am divinely guided to my wealth. Every lead I receive is from God and brings me riches, under grace, in perfect ways. Feel what happens in the stillness after those words leave your lips. The law has heard you, the arrangement has been made. Channels that were invisible to you an hour ago are now opening. People who will be part of your increase are even now thinking of you, being led toward you, or being prepared to receive you. Circumstances are aligning in ways you cannot yet see, but you will soon, and unmistakably. The decree you have spoken is not a request. It is a trigger, a signal that your readiness has been declared and that your obedience will meet every lead without hesitation. This is the sacred sentence you will carry forward from this day into every day. It will become the voice print of your spirit, the password that opens every door in your divine estate. Speak it often, but never casually. Let it be the moment in your day when the atmosphere shifts, when the compass locks onto its course, and when your feet move in harmony with the very steps that have been ordered for you since before you could name them. It is yours now, and with it, the path to your wealth is already under your feet. Now that the sacred sentence has been given and spoken, it must be anchored in the physical realm through the act of public decree. Spirit works in the invisible, but the spoken word shapes the visible. And when you declare your covenant aloud and in writing, where others can see it, you do more than affirm, you seal it, you witness to it, you give it form in the material plane. This is why I am instructing you now to take this exact sentence, word for word, and write it in the comments below this very message. I am divinely guided to my wealth. Every lead I receive is from God and brings me riches, under grace, in perfect ways. Do not alter it, do not shorten it, do not dress it up in other phrases. The law moves with precision, and your declaration must match the form of the key exactly. For it is a key, a spiritual signature that will open the right doors and summon the right connections without error. When you write it, you are placing your name on the contract between you and infinite intelligence. You are saying to the seen and unseen world alike, I accept this truth as my own, and I will act upon it. This public act serves a second purpose as well. It signals to your own subconscious that you are not keeping this commitment in a hidden corner where doubt can quietly unravel it. You are making it visible, unashamed, as one who has nothing to hide and nothing to lose. You are joining your voice with others who are also stepping into divine guidance, creating a chorus of agreement that strengthens the vibration of your decree. Understand this, in the spiritual realm, contracts are binding the moment they are agreed upon in word and belief. By writing this sentence publicly, you are moving beyond private intention into public agreement, and that shift carries power. It becomes a line you cannot easily cross back over into old patterns because you have made your alignment known. The very act of declaring it openly will begin to draw situations into your life that demand you walk in the truth you have claimed. So write it now. Type it exactly. Let your fingers press each word with the weight of conviction, and know that as you do, the law is not waiting to act, it is already acting. The compass is fixed, the path is opening, and your wealth is even now moving toward you in perfect, divinely ordered ways. Now that you have spoken the sacred sentence and sealed it with your public decree, you must step into the role of a watchman over your own demonstration. The law is already in motion, and your wealth is already advancing toward you, but the conscious mind must remain alert, expectant, and receptive, lest it overlook the signs of fulfillment that will begin to appear. This is why I instruct you now. Return tomorrow, and the day after, and the day after that, ready to bear witness to the movements of spirit in your affairs. Expect them, look for them, name them when they arrive. Within the next 24 hours, something will happen. It may be a shift in your atmosphere, a conversation that plants a seed, a sudden idea that feels alive with possibility, an unexpected opportunity or connection that appears without your chasing it. It might be as small as a moment of unmistakable inner clarity, or as large as a direct financial breakthrough. Whatever form it takes, it will be the law answering your decree, and your role is to recognize it and affirm it, for what you affirm multiplies. When you return, write down what has occurred, however small, and speak the sacred sentence over it again. In doing this, you compound the vibration, strengthening the current between you and your wealth. Do not dismiss any occurrence as too small in the mathematics of spirit. The smallest lead can be the hinge upon which the greatest door swings open. This practice of returning is not about doubting the law or checking to see if it works. It is about entering into an ongoing relationship with your demonstration. Just as a gardener tends daily to the seeds they have planted, watering them, shielding them from harm, rejoicing over every new sprout, so you will tend to the seed you have spoken. The more you acknowledge the law's movement, the faster and fuller your harvest will come. So I say to you, set your heart now to watch for your sign. Keep the compass in your hand and the decree on your lips. And when you see even the first glimmer of your wealth path opening, return to this place and bear witness. For every testimony spoken becomes a beacon to the law, signaling that the channel is open and ready for more. Tomorrow is not a hope, it is an appointment with evidence. Keep it. Before we close this sacred space, I want to leave you with a gentle but unwavering reminder. The decree you have spoken is not a one-time event to be tucked away like a souvenir from a powerful moment. It is a living key, meant to be turned daily, unlocking door after door, leading you from one divine appointment to the next. If you will carry it with you in your heart, on your lips, in your written word, it will continue to guide you with the same clarity and certainty you feel in this moment. I urge you now to make this decree your daily wealth navigation practice. Each morning, before you engage the world's noise, speak it aloud. Each evening, before you close your eyes, let it be the last sound you hear in your own voice. I am divinely guided to my wealth. Every lead I receive is from God and brings me riches, under grace, in perfect ways. Let it become the frame through which you view every choice, every conversation, every opportunity. When something feels uncertain, speak it and listen. When a door opens, speak it and step through. The more you do this, the more your life will begin to feel like a seamless stream of divine timing. The right words spoken at the right moment, the right meeting in the right place, the right opportunity appearing without struggle. This is not luck, it is the law, faithfully activated by your constant agreement with it. And as you continue, you will find that wealth no longer feels like something you must chase or make happen. It becomes the natural byproduct of walking in step with the voice that has been guiding you all along. So here is my soft second call to action. Recommit right now to this practice for the next 21 days. Speak the sentence morning and night. Record every sign, every lead, every blessing, no matter how small, that arrives in response. Watch how quickly the thread of divine guidance weaves itself into a fabric of visible prosperity. And when you witness the pattern forming, share it with others, for in doing so you become not only a receiver but also a channel, multiplying the law's flow in your own life. You have not simply learned a principle today, you have entered into a covenant. Keep it alive, and it will keep you in the center of your prepared wealth. And now, beloved, I speak a blessing over you, a sealing of all we have declared, a confirmation that what has been spoken here is already taking root in the unseen and will manifest in the seen. I bless your inner ear, that it may remain open to the still small voice of spirit, hearing with clarity and confidence every lead that is meant for you. I bless your eyes, that they may see the signs and openings that others might overlook, recognizing them as the hand of God moving in your affairs. I bless your feet, that they may carry you swiftly and surely to the exact places where your wealth awaits, never wandering, never delayed. I declare over you that the path before you is lit from end to end, and that you will walk it with grace, courage, and joy. No counterfeit voice will deceive you, no false lead will detour you, and no fear will keep you from stepping through the doors that open in perfect sequence. You are under the government of divine law, and divine law is incapable of error. Therefore, your guidance is flawless, your timing exact, and your supply abundant. Let the image of that golden compass remain with you, its needle fixed, its glow unwavering, its pull irresistible. Know that from this moment forward, you carry it within you, and that it will never fail to point you toward your highest good. The sacred sentence you have spoken is now alive in you, and it will continue to draw wealth, opportunity, and increase into your life in ways that will astound you. So go now, not as one who wonders, but as one who knows. The clasp is open, the current is flowing, and your wealth is already in motion toward you. Walk in the light of guidance, rejoice in the ease of divine timing, and let your life become the living proof that those who hear and obey the voice of their wealth walk in unbroken abundance. And so it is, and so it remains.